How's it going, guys? Welcome to another video on the Caveman Bets YouTube channel. Today, we're going to be breaking down our Saturday night game. That's right, we've got one Saturday night game this week. We did have two, but the Rona went and destroyed that one on us. So we've got a bunch of Monday and Tuesday night games to look at this week. But we still have the Patriots at the Colts and what should be an absolute thriller of a match. Both these teams are jockeying for playoff position. The Patriots are wanting to try and get back into that number one seed if they get the win here. And the Colts, I think they've still got a chance of winning that division. It's a tough order for them to do it, but a wild card would probably be good enough for them, given the way that they have started the season. Now, as I said, crucial match for the playoff position. We're going to kick it off and we're going to jump straight into looking at the handicap. And right now we're sitting at 2.5. I'm going to lean towards the Patriots plus the 2.5. I'm not excited about it. I would have liked the 3. And if the Colts came out and covered, again, I wouldn't be overly surprised. Just the way that I see these teams playing out, you have two eccentric offenses that can go out and score at will. Two defenses that have got strong coordinators and strong defensive mindsets, but at times this season have both conceded a few weaknesses. Obviously, the Patriots there conceded over 200 yards on the ground to a Derrick Henry-less Tennessee Titans team, which is never a good thing to do. But I'm going to look at the Patriots plus the 2.5. Luke, what do you have on this one, mate?
I've got the same. I really was hoping this was going to get up to 3.5 even. There's not value at that 3.5 at $1.60 odds. This is more of a stay away as far as the spread and a heads up players. I think there's not going to be value there. This could be a 7-point win for either team. I think the Colts being at home indoors is going to help them than being, away at the Patriots. And that's why this game is so key. I think both offensive coordinators are going to be onto it early, have good scripted plans moving forward for this game. Josh McDaniels is one of the best coordinators, to be honest, of all time. It's going to be interesting what he does as a head coach again. Eventually, he's going to get that opportunity. Doesn't matter how flaky he is. This Patriots offense is dynamic, but the Colts right now have more talent on offense. This Patriots team is still kind of coming together, a bit young, having together, whereas Wentz knows this offense. Taylor, in his second year is really excelling. The offensive line for the Colts is amazing, but the Patriots, you don't want to sleep on their O-line either. So I see this as really close. Both defenses are better than the sum of their parts. I'm not an amazing amount of talent on defense. The Rams going to have more talent, teams like that. But as far as the structure, how they behave, there's some good defense there, despite Matt Patricia still being involved. I think the Patriots should keep Matt Patricia at home this
time. Fair enough. And as you say with Josh McDaniels, I mean, he did have a head coaching opportunity. Didn't go too well, but we'll see if there's any holdover from that coming into this game here. All right, so let's have a look at the total here. And I've got this one set at 45, but there are 44s starting to pop across the board. So it looks like money is starting to come in on the under. I'm on the over, guys. I really like that. I really like this over. Sure, we've got two teams that technically haven't let a lot of points in over the last few weeks, but their offenses are electric. I can see both of these teams having big games, and this, to me, could end up as a 27-30 type game. I really think that the over is the way to go on this side. I definitely wouldn't want to be playing an under here, especially around that 44 number. That's too low for me. But yeah, I'll take the over, and I think that's probably my favorite play on the card today.
I couldn't agree more. Absolutely love this over. When it was 46 and a half to 47, I liked it. It was a little bit sketchy because you didn't know who was playing, etc. I think there's a big overreaction on the Colts defense as well as the Patriots' ability to stop Jonathan Taylor. I don't think Jonathan Taylor can be stopped based on how the Colts played against the Bucs at home. The Colts ran the ball in the fourth quarter even down and got yards. Taylor got his touchdown. Taylor's going to get his touchdown at least. The Colts can run the ball in the red zone. The Patriots can run the ball in the red zone. These are teams that are going to have play action passing in the red zone. You're going to have to respect, which most teams don't have. Especially in defensive battles, a lot of these teams don't have the offenses that can convert. Both of these offenses can convert down there. As we said, offensive coordinators that are really good. And the Patriots are going to be, I think, creative. The Colts have been creative lately when Wentz has started not throwing embarrassing passes. He hasn't thrown some embarrassing passes nearly as much as he did early in the season, middle of the season. This tote is basically the tote it could have been week 3 with Wentz hurt and throwing dumb passes around and Mac Jones being really new. But this is late in the season. These offenses have identities. Absolutely love this over. I'm going to go a few units at minimum.
Yeah, it's perfect. Like I said, I've already placed 2 units myself on the 45. And if we're going to hit some 44s, well, I'm just going to have to reinvest here because that's just simply too good of a number to go with. Now, let's have a look at some prop bets here. And I'm going to ring off a whole heap because I've been looking at this game for the last few days. I thought I was going to have to split my time with the Browns and Raiders game, but I've got a few more days to have to worry about that one. Well, a day and a half at least. I'm going to start with some first quarter props. I've really been looking at these first quarters recently, and I think it's a great way to bet on the NFL because you've got a lot of scripted plays coming out in the first quarter. So there's less chance involved and more of a fact of you betting on the quality of the players versus how they match up against the defense and the quality of the coaching side. And like we say, we really like both of these coaching teams. So I'm just going to run off a whole heap here. So Patriots over 2.5 points in the first quarter. So the Patriots to score at 166. We have the Colts over 5.5 first quarter points, and that's at 183. So the Patriots won. They have scored in the first quarter in 7 of their last 8 games. Colts won here. They've scored a touchdown in the first quarter in 8 of their 9 last games. So they've both been getting it done, and I think they can absolutely get it done again. Going to keep on going with the same thing. First quarter total over 9.5 points, paying $2. First quarter, both teams to score, paying $2.20. Basically, it's all tying into here for me, seeing this game getting off to a quick start. Absolutely love those ones. Now, a couple of player props that I have. I'm going to get on to Hunter Henry and more specifically over 24.5 receiving yards. Now, Henry's gone over this number in 9 out of 12 games this season that haven't been played in a blizzard. The Colts have given up the 3rd most receiving yards to tight ends. The Colts have given up 320 receiving yards to tight ends in the last 4 weeks. I mean, sure, they played Gronk in one of those games, but they also gave up almost 70 yards to Dan Arnold. I mean, this isn't. This is one of the worst defenses to play against tight ends in the league right now. And Hunter Henry, who is a former good player, is only at 24.5 receiving yards. They are going to be feeding him the ball this week. My other one here, I have Nyheim Hines over 16.5 receiving yards. Now, Hines has settled back into his role as that featured receiving back now. He started off well for the first 3 weeks of the season. Then it kind of all came off the boil for about 4 weeks. And now he has gone 5 of the past 6 weeks that he's cleared this receiving yards mark. Patriots have given up the fourth most receiving yards to opposing running backs, and they've allowed a running back to go over 17 receiving yards in all but 2 of their matches this season. One of those, of course, played in a blizzard. The other one was against the Tennessee Titans, who had so much success on the ground. They didn't need to throw the ball to their receiving backs. That game, they didn't need to throw the ball to anyone. Ryan Tannehill had 93 passing yards. Yeah, they didn't win that game. No, they didn't do well. But Nyheim Hines, look, he's going to go up against a side that has been decent at stopping the run. They've been good at getting to the passer, and he's gonna be the outlet. He's gonna be the guy that's gonna be coming out on that 5-yard route, and he's gonna have open space in front of him. So if you give Hines 3 targets, I expect him to easily pass this. That's with him getting 2 of those for a reception, a 10-yard gain and an 8-yard gain. There we go, straight away. 2 out of 3 and 18 yards for Nyheim Hines. And that's the first quarter. Again, I'm calling him to get it done in the first quarter. Hell, I'm calling Hunter Henry to get that done in the first quarter. I'm looking for a big first quarter today for both of these teams. What do you got there, Seppo?
I absolutely love that Nyheim Hines. You touched on all of those points. Should happen in the first quarter for him. I'm liking the Henry as well, but I think Hines is the best top here. I've noticed that Colts against good teams, Wentz rushes, Hines catches the ball for the most part. In these competitive games against good defenses, where against the Texans and the Jags, Hines not much sometimes. Wentz doesn't have to run. He's just sitting in the pocket, able to be comfortable. Wentz is going to want to try and make plays, keep things alive. He's going to rush for that over 9.5. Absolutely love both Wentz. Wentz is going to probably get his late. He's probably going to get his third, fourth quarter. The Pats are going to be able to get after him a little bit. They're not going to want him comfortable. They know that Wentz can do some dumb stuff if he's not comfortable. They're going to come after him, which is going to lead to Hines catching the ball. And it's going to be Taylor getting his yards, but I don't know early. I don't think Taylor might go 5 for 13 early. And that means the Colts are going to be in these longer situations trying to get the ball to Hines. And Hines is fantastic after the catch. He's one of the best receiving backs. There's a reason they paid him when they knew how good Taylor was. They know they need him, although I don't think they knew Taylor was going to catch the ball as well. I've got 2 other ones other than Hines and Wentz. Brandon Bolden, if he plays, he might not. If he plays, looking in the mid-20s for his receiving over, I don't think the Colts are going to be able to handle him. He's fantastic out of the backfield. The Colts have been weak against running backs for the most part since James White was doing the business against the Colts. They have a better linebacking crew than the Patriots for this. But Michael Pittman, possibly over that 54.5. Don't love it. Patriots good at taking away the number 1 receiver, but I don't see either Hilton. I don't think he's going to get open, and Zach Pascal, who I used to like, I don't think he's getting open either. So it's going to be, I think, Wentz targeting Pittman a lot. Whether he catches the ball, who knows? I think he's getting 10 targets.
That sounds absolutely brilliant. Now, what it looks like to me is there is a ton of betting opportunities on this game tonight. And the thing is, there's not going to be a lot of great betting opportunities for this week in the NFL. Obviously, we have a ton of players out or in protocol or questionable. So it's going to be a very pick your spot week. The way I'm seeing this one is loving that over. That's my best bet. I'm going to load up on that one tonight, and hopefully that gets me a wee bit of profit, and I can just pick my spots for the rest of the weekend, find where we've got the first team players in playing well with good matchups, and just being a little bit more on the conservative side this weekend. Same with the EPL. I've been betting that all season up until last week. I started halting on that, and what a great pause that's been. It looks like most of the games are getting postponed these days. COVID is just starting to really take over the entire sports scene right now. We've got postponements in the NBA as well. A lot of players out in the NBA. My fantasy team has been absolutely crushed to dust with the injuries and the health and safety protocols that I'm dealing with there. So before you put any money down on the NFL this week, look to see who's playing, look to see what the protocols are, and if you can, wait as close as possible to the game to lay any money, just to make sure that those players that you think are going to be in really are going to be playing. What's your best bet there, Seppo?
I'm on that total 44.5 as well. This has dropped way too low. 46 47, sometimes a danger zone as far as bets go. This is on the lower side of hopes. This should not be on the lower side. These defenses are organized, but not amazing talents other than Matthew Judon, pretty much, who should get more prop up for Defensive Player of the Year. Other than that, well organized. And I don't think well organized is going to get you this huge under in an indoor dome stadium. Like this tote would be. I'd still go with the over. This is in Foxborough. This is indoors. Loving this tote. A little bit on high.
Absolutely. All right, guys, make sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel, ring that notification bell so you know exactly when we've got our content going live. Drop some comments down below. I want to see what you guys are on this game. Are you on the over as well? Do you like the under? You know, are you going to go against us? Do you love Hines this weekend? Do you like Carson Wentz on his rushing? Hunter Henry? Or do you think the first quarter is going to be a nil or bust? Let us know what you think. And guys, we'll see you back on later on. We've got Props by the Fireplace coming out later on tonight, as well as a few other good videos. So stay tuned for the content getting dropped. Cheers, guys.